Welcome to Conversations and Connections to Amplify and Inspire. I'm Kerryn Powell, and this is the second series of my podcast. This season, we're taking things to the next level, exploring how simple introductions and a curiosity to learn can lead to extraordinary moments. Together, we'll uncover stories, celebrate the transformative power of human connection and how it drives us to collaborate, contribute, create a better future and influence change in our community. I hope you enjoy it. Hello, I'm Kerryn Powell and I'm glad you're here with me today. There's a story I've always loved and you may have heard it. It's been shared a lot, but it still gets me every time. In fact, I used it in the beginning of my book. It's about a child walking along a beach after a big storm. The shoreline is absolutely covered in starfish. Hundreds of them, maybe thousands. And one by one, a child bends down, picks up one and throws it gently back into the sea. An old man watching from a distance walks up and says to the child, "There are too many, you'll never make a difference." The child pauses, looks up at him, then picks up another starfish, tosses it into the water and says softly, "It made a difference to that one." That story was first shared with me by the president of the school council when I stopped teaching. It captures something I believe deeply. We all have the opportunity to help just one person, and that is worth it because one can lead to many, and that's how ripples begin. My conversation with Maggie Ciobanu reminded me of this story because Maggie's a mum of 3. She's also an entrepreneur and a creator of Yoochooz, an app designed to help kids pause, reflect and choose kindness before they hit send on their device. But before any of that, she was just a mum, watching her daughter go through something no parent wants to see. Her daughter, at just 12 years old, had become the target of cruel online bullying. Group messages, comments about her weight, her appearance, things no child should read about themselves, and particularly when they came from supposed friends. And what struck me most was Maggie's response. She was upset, and I'm sure a little angry, but she got to work. Now let's be honest, building an app from scratch, I wouldn't know where to start. It's no small thing, especially when you're not from the tech world. But Maggie taught herself what she needed to know. She asked the questions and she found the people who could help her. And she's built something that could help other children avoid what her child went through. She's faced funding issues, knockbacks, parents who hesitate, people who say, "It's not my child I'm worried about." But Maggie keeps going because she knows that if the app stops one cruel message from being sent, if it opens up one important conversation between a child and their parent, it can change lives. It can save lives, and it's worth it. Listening to Maggie, I thought a lot about my own childhood. When I was growing up, the phone was attached to the wall. You'd hear it ring and someone would yell out, "I'll get it," or you'd rush and answer it and then shout to the family, "It's for you." Everyone knew who was on the other end. Later on, we got one of those long cords on a reel and we'd unravel the cord and sneak into another room so that we could have a private conversation. But our parents still knew who we were talking to. They'd hear the laughter, the tone, the tears, and our communication was far more visible. There were no secret conversations. Now our kids carry everything in their pockets, their friends, their fears, their photos, their mistakes, and we as parents might not even know. So here's the thing I've been thinking about. We can't parent like our parents did. The world's changed too much. But what we can do is to still bring the values that we were brought up with to the fore. Things like pausing before we speak, taking responsibility for our words, asking questions, choosing kindness. That's what Yoochooz helps children do. It doesn't spy, it doesn't punish, it simply nudges them to stop and ask themselves, are you sure you want to send this? Maggie shares a story of her son who used the app to defend his sister. He knew the message would flag and his mother would see it. But he came to her first. He told her what had happened and why he'd sent the message. And that's the magic. It's not just about stopping bullying, it's about opening up communication that may not otherwise have happened. If you haven't heard the conversation I had with Maggie, I thoroughly recommend that you do now and share it with others who may also benefit. This is what real innovation looks like to me. It's not always created in shiny offices with big budgets. Sometimes it's created at the kitchen table by a mum who cares deeply and decides to do something. She has a vision that things can be better. Now, I know conversations with kids aren't always easy. I am a mother, a grandmother, and I know from my teaching days that it's common for there to be a lot of eye rolling around the dinner table. And I also know the power of asking just an open question. Communication between parents and children is really important, and the podcast with Neil Milton from Table Talk Project highlights that as well. Listen to that one as well. It's a fabulous initiative. So instead of asking how was school, I'd try, what made you smile today? Or what was the toughest part of your day? Sometimes it worked to start a conversation. Sometimes it didn't. But the effort mattered, because silence can be dangerous, especially online. I now see families out at restaurants commonly where kids are on iPads and parents are talking around them. And again, I get it. We all need a break, but I also worry. Are we missing precious opportunities to teach our kids how to talk, how to listen, how to be with each other, how to have a conversation, how to build their relationships? Maggie isn't just building an app, she's building a bridge between parent and child, between impulse and reflection, between the world we grew up in and the world our kids live in now. So if you're listening to this and thinking, can one parent really make a difference? Let me tell you what I believe. Yes, they can. And when one does, it inspires another and another and another. And that's the ripple effect. That is what Maggie's created. Recently, I shared a conversation with a friend about the Yoochooz app and how excited I was that Maggie had taken this step. My friend shared with me that at her son's primary school, the police had recently been in to talk to the children about sharing of images on their devices. It is a real problem. It is something that needs to be addressed. So I'll leave you with this. Let's be the ones who start the conversations, who listen when it's hard, who model the values we hope our children will carry with them. And let's be the ones who pick up the starfish and gently, lovingly throw it back into the sea. Because if we can't save them all, we can make a difference to that one. Thanks for listening, and I'd love you to share this reflection with someone who needs to hear it. Bye for now. Thank you for joining me on Conversations and Connections today. I hope this conversation sparked new ideas and reminded you of the power of meaningful connections. A huge thank you to all of our guests for sharing their valuable insights and inspiring stories. visit my website at kerrynpowell.com.au. You'll find resources, insights, and opportunities to work with me to make every conversation count and create lasting impact. Don't forget to subscribe, share this episode, and leave a review to help spread the word. Until next time, stay curious, stay connected, and let's start making an impact together, one conversation at a time.